Robert, they expecting it to rain more today?
Maybe. Yeah, it rained a bit at my house. What's the cold front? It's supposed to be pretty warm. It's supposed to be sunny and like days. And then more severe weather on Friday.
I've never bailed strong. I've never bailed strong so much in the middle of, at 11, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, tornado warning's going on. I'm going through there, my skid steer, gathering up straw bales, 1 o'clock in the morning. Bang, bang, beep.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. It was lightning like crazy last night.
It started pouring. It started pouring then 11:30 or something. By the time I got done,
Something like it.
where I was at.
I got everything gathered up. The only thing that's left is that one field where the pond is in, it goes straight out from Steve's house. I got a little bit left in there, probably taking about 2 hours to build up.
Yeah, it really needs to dry a lot. I raked it again the other day, and it probably wouldn't work.
No, Dad bailed some of it. It was fine. He didn't go down on the lower edge. It was probably still too wet down there.
Think we're good to go? All right. Alright, we'll go ahead and call the special call meeting to order. And thanks everyone that is in attendance tonight. Look like we got a sellout crowd. But if you would, join me in a prayer and then we'll say the pledge and we'll get started. We thank you, Lord, for this day that you've given us. We thank you for the county we live in. We thank you for the opportunity we have to represent our residents and help us make the best decisions that'll help them and give them life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in their lives. Go with us tonight as we make these decisions. Be with those who are less fortunate than us, those that have family issues and needs. We ask you to lay your hand upon them. We say these things to you in your precious Son's name. Amen. Join us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Stump.
Here.
Squire Ferris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
George Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis. Squire Cotton.
Here. All right, we have 5. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Jim tonight.
Second.
Motion by myself, seconded by Zach, to excuse Jim tonight in his absence. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Tonight, first in your book is a finance report that Karen got completed up. You see it's January to March. I know we had, she had to make some corrections. Let's see. Some edits we had to submit on the CD investments, but we now have it in. It's submitted to local government. And I just need everyone to acknowledge that we presented it to you. It runs all the way through, way up, the pages are not numbered. But it runs all the way up through that page that says 14 and 14. It goes up through there pretty deep. But just want to, for everyone to acknowledge that they received that. If you want to make a motion that we got it, that'd be good.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of financial report.
Second. All right, motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to acknowledge that we received the edited January 1 to March 31 financial report. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, on up in your book, there's a page that says annual standing order and pre-approval for certain expenses. It looks like this.
27.
Okay. Yeah, the paper pages aren't numbered.
I'm just going with those.
All right,
Right here.
All right. So basically, these are the things that we pay on a routine basis. You can read down through there, the Corey's office, the physician that Robert has. Actually, the first one was his own attorney, Mr. Dale, and then third is the Corey's office, and then we pay for conferences and trainings as needed, postage as needed, and then we have the loan payment for the animal shelter, loan payment for the pavilion, cleaning services and engineering services. We need to make a motion and second, and we will have to send this in to the state. So does anyone have any questions about these? Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the standing orders for the payment.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, to approve the standing orders. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Lynn, I got 3 or 4 of these that we got a sheriff's signature on. If you'd like, I'll lay them aside and then you want to sign them all tonight and then we have them done. Is that okay? All right, that's one of them. And I wrote Dan and Zach. All right. Next on the agenda, we have the ordinance, which will be a second reading and adoption of our budget. The first page has Robert Brown, state finance officer. And then the next couple pages has all the budget items, which has another page for the clerk to sign. And then payments beyond that talks about revenues and expenditures. I have on whatever page Mike says 1 of 3. Probably page 30 or 32 or something, since you're online.
I'm gonna skip ahead, read it somewhere.
Okay, it looks like.
1 of 3 is on 32.
Yeah, it looks like this page right here. I did some writing on it. And basically, when we put a budget together, we anticipate our revenues. And I've got some of the big lines that add up or take away quick. If you look at that very first top line, real property tax, in 24-25, the actual closing number was 1.136 million. And currently, we're at 1.109. That's for this year. So you can see we budgeted at 1.2, so we're pretty close on it. We'll probably be a little under. But jump down to occupational tax. 24-25, we ended at 1.100833. Currently, we're at 1.416. You can see we budgeted 1.150. So we're going to be above on that one. The insurance premium taxes, we have 1.3 predicted in the new budget. We got 1.246 a year ago. And as of right now, we're at 1.355, and the last quarter hadn't been included in that yet. Because those payments will come in July for the fourth quarter. So we're going to be should be above there. And then the clerk and the sheriff has similar numbers on what they've, for example, the clerk last year was $741,000 and change. And then as of currently, they're at $806,690. And the sheriff last year was $849,860. And currently they're at 1.035. So they're going to be above budget on that. So, and then the ambulance receipts, if y'all remember, we made some adjustments to the ambulance receipts. A year ago, that the final was 1.034. And as of now, they're at 1.058. And I guess, Robert, you'll have receipts coming in July, that'll be for,
Well, yeah, we'll have, June, that'll be for May, and then July, receipts will technically be June's receipts.
yeah,
It's kind of a month behind, but yeah,
we still got more collections coming in. And I'm taking, if any of these numbers are,
They are the way it sounds, right?
well,
Cause that factors in half the year on our salary cap though too, right? Because it's all,
well, this is just the revenues, revenue condition report.
Oh.
Yeah, this is just
We're
revenues.
thinking-
I had Caitlin print me out a new one today, and what I did, I tried to get where last year closed, so I could make a comparison to the magistrates. Where last year closed, and then where we are currently, which is as of today in June. And those are the numbers I'm trying to give to anticipate. I guess it's kind of like I look at it, you all might be familiar, you know, I'll speak from a farmer. When you got the corn in the bin, you know what it's worth. You can count it, you know what the price of it is today. I could lock it in and put a price on paper. Whereas if it was in the field, I can't do that. Or if I hadn't planted it yet, I can't do that. So trying to take the concrete numbers, the occupational taxes, it's not necessarily a crop in the barn, but occupational tax and insurance premium fees, if you see where we settled a year ago, and you see where we are currently, then you can anticipate we should be at a different place once it all comes in, which is the comparisons I was trying to make. The next page is starts with the road fund. And one place we are going backwards is that last year we got $1,062,000. This year we're only supposed to get $825,000. Our road fund's gonna be cut $200,000 right off the gate, right out of the gate. However, we're getting $460,000 for that blacktop deal, the blacktop roads, so we don't have to take budgeted money for blacktop roads. We can use the LARP money for blacktop roads. And then the bank interest is it's gonna be less than a year ago because the rates have dropped so. Now, you can still, we was hustling to get 5, and now we're hustling to get 3.5. So, we lost some, and then we have invested some of our funds in, our buildings and things, so there's a little less earning interest. But basically, this is our second reading on our budget. Anyone have any questions about any of the items, or any points they'd like to make, so forth on the budgeting? We haven't even went on the expenditures yet. That was on the revenues. Go ahead, Zach, I'm sorry.
I just want to say I want to make a motion to approve this.
Okay.
As presented.
All right, we have, and this will be a second reading, with adoption. Here's another page we plan I have signed. But that will send to Robert Brown in the state. But, and keep in mind, it's a little later. Well, I got a motion. Is there a second? We get on the floor. Is there a second to approve the budget as presented? Second. All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Will, to approve the budget, second reading as presented. And now, Mike, I don't know if you want to say something.
Well, you want to go over appropriations?
Yeah, sure, go
Or,
ahead.
is there anything that sticks out on the, or anything you want to point out on that?
No.
I know you went over the revenues.
Yeah, no, nothing, I looked through it all, and I do have, we did include, at least a 2.5% raise in the appropriations.
For the county employees?
Yes, and that's across the board. We're gonna look at the pay increases, the next item. I've got a few more changes, and since the revenues look like, they're gonna be in fine shape, I've got some other adjustments, on a few positions, and I'll point that out here in a minute. But as far as, like on our vehicles and things, and again, what got approved on first reading, this is what it is. We've already covered some of the ground, like, putting a bunch of money in for Robert to get a new ambulance. We don't have to do that. So that's not in there.
I didn't see anything that jumped out, I just didn't know if you made any changes since last time on the appropriations side of things.
Is the flood wall tax we're paying on build there inside the city, that's it?
That would be true, yes.
I figured that.
Yeah, I know that's due every year.
Well, I'm just worried, we said one account listed, which I don't know what all these numbers mean, and it says 5,000. Seems weird, I don't know if one account, one building, but that's over the half.
Well, it should just be one. I saw that, but I don't remember looking at the, I mean, what we have, we have the, and honestly, I can't answer if any of them would be exempt, but, we have 2 courthouses, we have the building we're in, and everything inside the flood wall.
That's good.
But no, it wasn't anything in here to, a few things I did make note of, the tourism support, which I have that on the agenda, and I invited him to come tonight, which is why it's on the agenda. But, we have 10,000 on the tourism support. That's page 4 of 8 on the budget appropriations. And then, but keep in mind, we agreed to give the tourism, if y'all remember, about $1,000 a month, and we paid 1 quarter. And we agreed to do that for a year. So we owe them, the balance, 7,000 or 8,000, I guess, since we paid a quarter. And, the tourism room tax is a pass-through. That's where we collect the transit room tax. If the campground doesn't open, that number might be a little big, 40,000. But we have the 10,000 on tourism support, and where they have lost the transit room tax, they're in a struggle of making things work. But I think our 10,000 there, which would include, see, we agreed to do that for a year. That would kind of went into 2 years, 2 budget years. So that's the most that, that we have in the budget to give them. If we did give them extra, they need to come to us, but probably, we could go ahead and give them that. They can get, by then, hopefully the campground will be open and they can carry on and we'll be fine. And then the Chamber of Commerce has a donation there. So just a few things that are pointed out. We've got the cemetery maintenance again, which I think has been real successful. Community events, we've got 15,000. We choose to do, something in the community, like the Christmas on Main, and then the bicentennial may not need to be utilized, but we put a little in there just in case there were costs afterwards. Of course, they would, larger costs would have to come through here. The senior citizens contribution, we was giving them 40, and we've got that cut back to 20. And I have already told them, in the last meeting I was at, that we're probably going to consider cutting that from 40 to 20. We pay more than any other county that's in it, including Bullitt. And, this will get us, as far as population, we'll still be paying a good share, if you divide it among your citizens, but we won't be paying more than anyone else. And they, of course, they didn't like it, but they were okay. And I used the argument that if I can save 20,000, I can give it to my employees. So those are a few things. The rest of the stuff, we like we do, we move between the 01 lines, which is the general fund, the 02 lines, which is the road, and then the 03 lines, which is the jail. Now we had to put over $1 million into the jail fund this time. I want to say that's 100,000 plus that we had to add to the jail just because of, not that the cost per night went up, but we got more, y'all got more takers. So, we have more people to house. So we put 800,000 into that line. So,
I know it's not on there, but maybe they should know, we do have FEMA money starting to come in now.
yeah, we didn't include a lot of FEMA because FEMA was very stable.
Yeah, it's, hard to predict, but money's starting to roll back in to reimburse for all these projects, so.
And hats off to Robert. I don't know how many I get a week. I don't get them every day, but I still probably get a dozen or more a week. And I pass them on to Todd, I pass them on to Robert, and I pass them to Aaron at ER Assist. And sometimes I send them to Corey if they got stickers in them, something. But nonetheless, we do have, I think we got a working system there now, just that they'll start to cut loose with some funds in Washington. But, like this year, we haven't had those disasters like we did last year. We haven't gotten a check for the disaster last year. So, but it's starting to come in. Well, you was in the other day, you had 75 to 100,000 that maybe we were
I've
going to get.
gotten 2 notifications totaling about 150 to 160,000.
Possibly more than that, yes. So,
We also have a lot of open projects that are still running through the process, so.
we get, and the funniest thing is, they'll send automatic responses at like 3:48 in the morning on Sunday night. And when I get them, I'll send them to Robert, send them to Aaron, send them to Todd. And, and again, Aaron, the ER Assist, Aaron and Laurel, they're working on commission. And when the government was shut down, I don't know how they ate, to be honest with you. But now that FEMA basically shut in, now that they're back in business where things is rolling again. So, no, I did a lot of talking. Does anyone have any other questions or concerns on the revenue or the expenditures? If not, I'll entertain, we've got a motion, so we'll go to vote. All those in favor of approving the second reading of the budget, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, thank you all for that. Skip over a few more pages on pay rates. And if y'all find, I'll wait till y'all get to the crossways on the page.
Oh.
Basically, it starts out, Robert's on the top. And when Karen and my office put this together, basically they just put 2.5% all the way down through. And then if you see some folks where it says still probationary, I feel like that once the probationary part is over, they should get the increase that we put on everyone. Now, Robert had some changes. Let me try it another way first, Robert. I made some changes, but I went down through here, and I'll tell you some of my thought process before I get going. We've got employees that I can explain it is are on call. I'm not talking about the sheriff, and I'm not talking about the clerk's office. They're not included in this discussion. Sorry, guys. You know, they're all here. But because I know the sheriff's on call 24/7, basically. But when you talk about and I thought about this, Mike, the other day when the toilets wouldn't flush at Ray Jewell Park.
Yeah.
On Saturday, they had a baseball bash in Ray Jewell Park, and the toilets quit. And as you can imagine, it ain't good. But nonetheless, so we were reaching out to maintenance folks, and we were reaching out to parks folks. And it's Saturday, and but we have some employees that are on call, and then some department heads that are not. So my thought process is the ones that are on call, to me, should have a little premium built in versus ones that aren't. And I mean, it's only a handful that we're talking about, but to me, the, Robert's basically on call, Daniel's on call, Brian's on call, and Victoria's on call. Now, pretty much, we're not gonna have a disaster at planning and zoning that they'll need to be called in, or at the recycling center. So my thought process is folks that's on call, I was gonna try to get them up closer to one another. And then, now your EMTs, you have 2 supervisors listed here. And, they already are at a premium to others, the 2 supervisors. And that's fine. They should be. But, and then some of the folks in my office, I'm down to, of course, Karen only works part-time, and Caitlin's full-time. And, my treasurer has submitted her resignation, so I'm not gonna have a treasurer here in a couple of weeks. And, we'll need to discuss that down the road. Right now, we're talking about people's pay and employees. So the pay for the current treasurer will be a moot point. But, now at the road department, on this list that was given to you all, a couple of them were incorrect. Our CDL guys was at 23, right? Not 22. Am I right on that? Y'all remember? Like we hired Steve, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be 23. I don't know who can look that up, but, we have 22 down here.
Well, I think we wouldn't move to 22 and higher, because we didn't hire everybody off the street for 18, because the CDL was 18.
See, I was thinking to hire Steve, we had to do 23 because he won more. And then we give Cody, Covey a bump because he was a CDL. We brought him up to be what Steve was. So everyone that I have mentioned basically is a little different than just the 2.5% for folks.
So like when you talk about the other department guys, some guys are already making more money, so they're sitting 2.5%. Everyone else, they're already making more money.
Yes, I mean, that is true. But they are somewhat on call though too, but that's the only reason I singled them out. And just because I singled them out, y'all disagree with me. I'm just one vote at a time tonight, so.
Well, I necessarily don't care about the on-call deal. You kind of knew that when you were going, but I think some of them people that you talked about deserve a better, I mean, there's more than just them, but there's some people that deserve more than, they put above and beyond. Yeah, I think we should put one to go above and beyond.
Anyone else have any comments? I'd like to hear everyone's comments.
So you still have the percentages the same on the people you say that's on call. Is your thought process to change that for like 3 or 4% or something?
To be a little higher, yes.
Oh.
Just, that's what I mean, to be a little higher. So, we have more expectation. And it ain't a bunch, I mean, from 2.5, it may not even jump to 5. You know, I was trying to round it to dollars, and I'll give you an example. Robert, right there at the top of the list, the 2.5% was gonna take him up to like, bi-weekly, 2879.46. I was gonna round that to 2,900. And then, the paramedics, Robert and I talked about paramedics. You can see, now the 2 supervisors is, Remy and Corey, that are, the 2.5% puts them at 2076 already. But I had in mind to take all the paramedics from 1960 to a flat 20. And bring them up to 20. Now, it's probably a little less than what your sheet says. Because I remember us talking about it. And we can still address it more. All right, and then, just go on down the list. So we'll come back to the EMS department. But if we took Robert up to 29 flat, and then down here we've got Angie, Ashley, and Emma. Now, we just hired them, and you all may, be fine with the 2.5%. However, Ashley is being a department head, and I was trying to get the department heads up just a little more. So I had a little bit more of a raise for her, for Ashley, which at 23, I think it's 23.58.
That's what you're showing on here.
On this paper. I'm thinking it ought to be, 24 or so. And the reason is because we have some other department heads. We have Daniel and Brian, which they would be up to like 25.63. I was going to round them to 26.
I'm just thinking the department thinks about following.
Well, that is true. That is true, and I'm okay. But I'm just, I'm trying to go with that where I think we'll all benefit the most. The Victoria, from where she was and where she's on call, and they do get a lot of overtime. They get a lot of overtime in the animal shelter, especially with these all these dogs. We only got 2 or 3 dogs that's ours, and we got the whole kennel full with the case dogs.
And for easiness, this thing, if everyone agrees to it, and you just say, we're gonna do the 2.5% raises, and everyone that's on call, you listed, they get 4% or 4.5, you go on every one, and any different raise we need to make it per person, we can later, or.
Well,
I just do, because something like that, I just do like an extra 50 cents, get your own call.
I mean, it's what y'all think. I was trying to, again, trying to bring up to where, because our employees are watching our meeting tonight, and I know they're seeing our discussion. And,
But, I'm happy with all the, I'm just gonna say, I'm happy with all the numbers that are on here, though. If you're gonna give raises every year, you can't give big raises every year.
and I'm trying to keep them all, none of them to me are great big.
No, that's why I said, I like, this is a good, cost of living number that you came up with. I think, if you want to give more to the on-call people, I think that's fine.
Well, my only question is how you gonna single out certain, like the road department, just for example. Any one of those guys could be an on-call person. Are you gonna do all the deal, or are you just gonna do it?
There's only a select few up there that are ever, maybe in a winter storm, but generally, I don't know, there's 2 of them that are ever on call.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna start talking about giving extra money, I'd say you're gonna get more participation in that.
Well, like, let's
Since keep from being on call.
let's look at, road department. By far Todd is the most hourly compensated employee that we have. And, he's gonna get 2.5%. But like you have the fellows that are making 18 an hour, but the fellows making 18 an hour have not been hired on that long either. Now, I was thinking about all of them instead of 2.5% from 18, taking them to 18.50. They have a round number. And then, of course, you got, Alan Thomas, who's been there 9.5 years. And he was gonna be up to $20 and something, and I was gonna take him to 21. Because a year or 2 ago, we took Jimmy up a little extra because he's been there for 24 years.
I just think if you start going through and start picking certain people, or hand-picking certain people, or just rounding up, good, it's not fair.
Well, but I kind of feel that it is fair. Now, someone that's making 18, that makes 18.50, they will say, you know, maybe I should have gotten more. And then,
Maybe they should have been employed longer.
well, then they will ask that question. Or they will say the responsibility that I have in my job is not as much of a responsibility as the one that got just a little more than me. But if I stay here and get promoted up, then maybe one day I will.
I don't think raises should ever be based solely off years of attendance.
Well, I'm just saying he makes less because he ain't been here long. That's what I was going after. Ain't put that. Years of service is just, that's what it dictates as far as the hourly rate right now. I mean, obviously, you know, most people give a percentage for cost of living, and it's always been, look, you don't make as much, then, you know, that percentage affects you differently than other people. I just don't want to get into picking this one, you know, rounding that one up to 50 cents, rounding this one up 46 cents, rounding this one up 89 cents. But then I don't think that's just the right way to do it. It's not. There's no rhyme or reason to it, other than you're just trying to round up like the nearest dollar, round up to the next 25. And, you know, and people's raises are just based off of how the numbers look on a spreadsheet rather than having any rhyme or reason to it.
I agree. I think it should be a percentage.
Now, if you want to give a higher percentage,
easier too on you.
like you said, you want to take on-call people, you know, if you designate who the on-call people are and you want to give them 4%, I'm fine.
Well, we can, I really wanted to get the conversation started, because we can adjust pay rates, I guess, without any time. But we need to do this tonight, so the first pay cycle in July will be covered. It don't necessarily start on July 1, because part of July, see, this Friday is the pay period. And then, that covers from up till last Friday. So the first full pay period in the next fiscal year will be, not the first week of July.
I mean,
So,
if y'all wanted to know if y'all want to make a note of who the on-call people are, I mean, I'm fine. I'll go 4% on it right now.
2.5%
tonight,
and then before the next meeting, you make your list just with the people and
we'll discuss just them.
Because I think you deserve more if you're on call.
I mean, that was the biggest point I wanted to make to folks.
well, I'm fine if, you know, you put people that are on call or people, your day-to-day activities, you interact with these people more than any of us do. There's someone that stands out, you know, does a great job, always does what they're supposed to. If you want to put them on that list, I'm happy to give them a raise too, a bigger raise.
I'm happy,
But you interact every day with these people.
yeah, and I'll need to make a list that I can pass around, and then y'all can scratch and write, and then we'll have it on the agenda down the road.
Well, that's the other thing. You told us all the numbers you rounded to, I bet you got all of them.
I know, and I thought about making copies, but, yeah, I run out of time, but nonetheless, well, now, you see these folks that are probationary, now, once their period is passed, then I would like them to get what their peers are making. Like, a lot of them are starting out at 18, so they'll go ahead and be up at the 1845. As soon as their probationary period is over.
They're like policies and still probationary.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 that have like that.
I mean,
I'm gonna point this one out, just something, just from attention here, but the city of Gulf, right, the county attorney's office is paid bi-weekly, that's
Cheryl.
it's going here that she pays hours monthly.
Well, it's, yeah, that divides up too, right? Well, no, it's,
That's the figure, it's just, that's the value.
yeah, it's not monthly, it's bi-weekly.
I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, of course, that wasn't on the agenda tonight because we already set, some of these, like in Corey's office, we've already set the rate. The jailer, well, just the jailer, we already set the rate. Now, the 2.5% does affect the transport folks. You see, that'll come out of our budget because I think the state just pays $15. I think, Corey, I think that's right. So,
I think it's 16.
No, it's 15 for security.
Okay, so see, we'd be eating at 38 cents ourselves.
Well, my thoughts on probationary, so that means they probably got hired within the last 30 days, or within the last 90 days.
Yes, within the last 90 days. Leave them at what they was.
Well, I mean, yeah, unpopular opinion, but if I took a job and within the 90 days, anywhere I would never got a cost of living raise. But
We can do it that way.
I'm just,
If
I mean, a lot of
what y'all think?
companies, that's the way it's set, is once you finish your probationary period, then you get
The boost?
a boost, because then you become a regular full-time employee. So you get what
I
the,
agree with that, but it's usually not the cost of living raise. like-
no, it's not a cost of living
50 cents
raise,
less,
it's
it
a,
works out,
it's
you
a
know,
raise
50%,
yeah, to make what the other employees, the other
Bottom dollar.
bottom dollar employees would make.
Yeah, but the other places that before this is what the rate was, but you want to change that, like on the probationary people that you would give the 2.5% to, that's what you want to do bottom dollar to be anyway, correct?
So that, it would be raising it up to that. I mean, that,
Moving forward, anyone that got hired would get hired at the 2.5% point.
well, here's an example. If we voted for me to hire the person in my office, I haven't hired him yet. So for the probationary period, they would make the 18 an hour. And then when it was over, I mean, my thought is then it would go to, that would be the new minimum going forward. But we don't have to do it.
That's
that
right,
way.
that's what you
I
want.
mean, are y'all okay with that?
I don't think, it really doesn't matter to me, I just.
So,
I mean, this probationary, like, you have these 1912 numbers.
at the EMTs,
Yeah, you're gonna add 2.5% to that, it's just not in here, correct?
yes. Yeah, the reason it's not in there is because,
They're not getting it.
well, when Karen and Caitlin and Sherry put this together, you know, they didn't want to assume for us, basically.
So they're gonna go from 1912 to 1960.
Same as,
That's not
yes,
another one.
that's
Yeah.
correct, same as others.
And new bottom dollar EMS person's gonna make that. I'm fine with it, it's a given that once they make the 90 days.
Well, now, of course, they make different depending on which truck they're on. Can't be more confusing than that.
The problem we're having, that's why I came up with the EMS pay scale is, every time a raise is given, that becomes our new starting pay. So you're not really rewarding the people that have been there.
Why is that becoming the new starting pay?
Because that's just how it's always been done. And that's why we're trying to change it.
Well, I just like it
That's
always.
because you're giving the cost of living.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with that? Just because some new person makes the same as someone that's been there a year or two?
But yeah, you might have somebody that's been there a year and you're bringing a brand new EMT in, you're now making the same amount that the person that's been there a year and they have 5, 6, 7 years experience on top of it.
So he wants to put a scale in place, so like, if you do a 2.5, everybody slides.
Yeah,
Well, he wants it if you're, say you just want to stay at bottom paramedic forever, but you've been there 7 years, you make more than the one that comes in.
well, plus we have to find a way to entice people to come here also. You know, I'm trying to come up with a way to be able to select what their pay is based on their years of experience. And that's built into the sheets that I give stock. You know, I want to give 10 cents for, every year up to 10 years come in, and you may come in making $1 more than this paramedic did, but they've got 10 years experience on top of you. So that's why I'm paying them the extra dollar on there for their experience.
Well, I mean, and I think also part of that equation is the paying the paramedic more than an advanced EMT, paying them more than an EMT. That gives them an incentive to go to school and move up. But for tonight,
Well, the other thing you get into is that same thing, when they're still gonna get a cost of living raise every year, so how does that factor into your pay scale? Or you got that cut out of your pay scale?
That's not in my business.
of course, one thing for sure, that what we have done on this court, that other courts have not done, is we have implemented some sort of cost of living every year. In the first year here, we did 6.5%, which is a lot. But our employees deserve it because stuff costs more.
I mean, it's like our part-time paramedic pay. You know, I wanna take our part-time paramedic pay much higher to entice the part-time paramedics we have to make them want to work.
Full-time.
Yes, well, just picking up shifts, because it's less for me to pay them a little bit more than pay overtime to cover paramedic shifts, because, you know, I have laws that say I have to have a paramedic on every day, so, you know, if I have to mandatory somebody, that I can call part-time paramedic, and I'm paying them close to what they can make it these other agencies part-time that pay more part-time paramedics, it may entice them to come in and pick the shift up as opposed to going someplace else and picking up the shift.
You still have some part-time paramedics though that work schedule,
No,
right? You know, you have no part-time paramedic that works the same every Tuesday and Friday or something. So your part-time paramedics are just random people
filling in openings for vacations to call.
None of them have a schedule.
No. All our part-time people have no set schedule. They're all as needed.
So every day you call somebody and they're like, I guess you need me to come in, Robert. Robert said, yep. And is that kind of how it goes?
Well, if a paramedic calls in sick, it's actually, hey, you're mandatory for the first 12, and then the paramedic that comes in the next day has to come in 12 hours early. We have
I think he's talking about when you call
When you call somebody,
a part-time
a
person.
part-time person, when you call a part-time person. Because you can't mandatory a part-time person.
So we send out a message through our scheduling system, and it goes to all the paramedics at one time, and if they want to pick it up, they can call and say, hey, I can pick that up. And
Oh, I got
It
you.
goes to all your full-time and part-time people?
no, it goes to all employees, but sometimes if it's just a paramedic opening, we can send a message just to part-time paramedics or part-time EMTs.
Well, that's what I was getting at, because we need to send part-time people first, I would think.
Yes, we fill everything with part-time first.
So sometimes you'll have 3 people say, I can do it. And then how do you decide then?
Whoever call first. Be quicker on the phone, and that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, well,
Well, see, it sounds like they're fighting over it already, so.
No, not really.
I'm just messing with you, Robert.
I mean,
sometimes Robert has to put his shoes on and get in the truck.
I rode the ambulance a couple times this month because, you know, we had a paramedic retired. I've been showing truck shifts and.
So, well, let's, I'll tell you what we can do tonight. I'll make a motion here in a minute, but I'm going to include just to have a 2.5% cost of living, across the board for all employees except sheriff and clerk's office. And include the probationary once the probationary is completed. I like the sound of that. So, all right, well, I'll make that into a motion. Want to move to approve the 2.5% across the board, not including the sheriff's or the clerk's office, and also it will include the probationary employees once their probation is complete. All right, a motion by myself, seconded by Will. Any other discussion? And I will get more things together, and we will discuss this in the future. But this will get everybody lined up.
Send us all copies of what Robert was saying.
Well, I'm gonna give them to you right now, unless you change your mind. Okay. Robert got them for me tonight. He'd already given them to me, but I lost them. So he did it. And Robert, when we get all your ambulances in good shape, we get all the sheriff in good shape, we can do more things. We're getting there.
We're about there.
Yes, we're getting there. All right, any discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All the tourism discussion, we kind of had,
Real quick, Robert, just so I can look at this later. Where is the part-time paramedic on here? Oh, I see it now. Well, this says like 26 to 27 start and take all current to 27.
I mean, it's,
So they're at 26 now?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, this don't have it on there. What is the number?
it's in your book, it's in the, on your
Who's
iPad.
part-time? You know, so
The part-time paramedics are at the 1920, and now they're up to currently 1920 plus 200% part-time paramedics.
All right, thank you much.
Here's one that's 1912. What's the difference? Day shift?
No, I don't know.
For the EMTs, 1912. And then paramedic current 148, 1920. Those are not part-time.
Yeah, right here. Part-time paramedic, Joshua Darnell, says 1912. And then, part-time Paul Edwards, 1920, he's part-time paramedic. So I don't know why
Well, maybe one's got a better cost of living, is it one has?
that one didn't. Don't know.
One of them been here longer than the other, that's why.
Could be, I mean, we could have an error on here, but regardless,
All right. that's
we'll,
all.
we'll get them called up. All right, all those in favor of the pay rates, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Thanks, guys.
Did we just vote twice?
Okay, good. Going back to the budget, we talked about it. Do we have anything budgeted in there? I know we generally support the Oktoberfest stuff.
Yes.
We got stuff in there for that?
Community events.
Okay,
Yeah.
I went back to find it, but I was probably overlooking it.
Yeah. I think there's 15,000 in community events.
Okay, I know we usually have some, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, never mind.
The tourism discussion, I talked about that a little bit when we did the, budget stuff. All right, we have a joint resolution. We are about to wrap up. We have a joint resolution for, the Stizzer.
Personnel policy?
Oh, I skipped it. Dang it. Forgot. Never mind. Skip me, go to Corey. I'm sorry.
Or not June 16th, it was 6/15 on June 14th. Incorporated the changes that were suggested at the last meeting and sent out draft versions of forms such as vacation leave. So I'll turn it to you all for any comments or questions or anything along those topics.
What did you send us for after the forms?
Yes. Yeah, I had alcohol-free workplace form, comp time form, computer acknowledgement form, confidential security agreement, direct deposit pay, drug testing consent, drug-free workplace certification, employee change of address form, employee discipline form, employee evaluation form, handbook receipt acknowledgement form, employment status form, expense reimbursement, harassment policy acknowledgement, motor vehicle records authorization form, and travel request form and vacation leave request forms, along with the changes discussed at the June 3rd special meeting.
I didn't see a copy of it, but you have all our changes that we talked about in there?
Yeah, red line copy was sent over with that.
Oh,
Looking at it.
I guess you should have it. Somewhere. It ain't in this packet.
Yeah.
He sent it.
It's a separate email.
Yeah, that's our second reading. Right now, we don't have a first reading.
It's not even an ordinance, so I mean, it can be an up or down vote.
Motion to approve personnel policy.
Second.
Have a motion by Zach, second by Will, to approve personnel policy changes. Any discussion?
Is that to include the forms, or are you gonna have a second vote for that?
Let's say both forms.
Yep. To include the forms? Yep. Motioner and the seconder agrees. All right, any discussion? And if you can, Corey, I guess, send them out in an approved document or.
What I'll do is I'll accept the track changes, and then I will add an exhibits, attachment of exhibits for the various forms, to go with it, and, get those out hopefully this week.
Biggest question I had was the bereavement. We had 2 days, right?
Yeah, let's see.
Our employees was happy about that.
Yes, so what was discussed was 2 days PTO for 7.5 and 8 hour shifts, and then 1 day for 24-hour shifts. And it includes, spouse, parents, step parents, parents, spouse, brother, sister, step siblings, children, stepchildren, grandparents, or step grandparents, if reasonably necessary, to be absent from work.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Any other discussion on the personnel policy? All right, we have a motion second on the floor. We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We'll get that out. Now, the tourism again, there's no one here. Joint resolution for Stidger House. On this first page, basically, I know I have shared with you all, and y'all may have read in other places, but the Stidger House got, I want to say 300,000. Does that sound right? Okay, but the money is to flow through us to them. So we need to get a resolution put together, and I've got this one here in your book. Now, I will have to change this page. Just down here at the bottom, it says a regular meeting. So this is a special call meeting on June 22nd. And then this is another page, Lynn, for you and I to sign. So I'll lay it out. So does anyone have any questions on this resolution? It just takes a simple majority for us to pass.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Mike, second by Zach to approve the resolution, joint resolution with Kentucky Department of Local Government and the County of Spencer in support of the Felix Grundy Spencer Historic Preservation Foundation in our efforts to administer funding to the historical site. That's the motion on the floor. Any other discussion? It goes on to say that the Kentucky Department for Local Government and the County of Spencer recognize the vital role of the Stidger House, and then whereas preservation of the historical site is essential to honoring local history as well, to boost the economic growth of the county, whereas Kentucky Department of Local Government and the County of Spencer recognize the importance of continued investment in historical preservation. So, I will like to say that Terry Cooper, that we have been supporting a lot of their works with finding cemeteries and stuff. They found Felix Stidger's parents today. And they're over on the Graves Run Road somewhere, I think. So. Cause
That's all you got, 147.
Yes, that's what I have in that stack right there. So we'll get those and get them back, and then that'll be done. So, all right, we have a motion and a second to pass this resolution. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Last item on the agenda is animal control personnel change. Now, Victoria is still working on potentially hiring another person. Bailey resigned. So that made her a person short, and then she wants this person, Audrey, which was part-time, if y'all remember, she was a co-op, for her to start full-time. So we need to make a motion to hire Audrey Humphrey full-time instead of part-time, effective after the end of this month at 18 an hour, which it'll be changed to 2.5. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all right, motion by Will, second by Zach, to approve the change to full-time for Audrey Humphrey as the animal control officer. And she will be at the 18 an hour plus the 2.5%, starting the first of next fiscal year. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I have executive session on here. Corey, I don't know if, I don't have anything we have to discuss tonight. Well, we'll be fine till next meeting. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. Motion by Zach, second by Mike to adjourn. This is available and amendable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
You win. 4 minutes fast, you got it. I hit the.
Oh, yeah, good job, Vic.
He said within the hour, didn't he?
What's that?
He said within an hour.
He told me 9:15.
Oh, all right.